and most of well, in fact all the books that are written about Detroit obviously concentrate on Motown because of the success that they had. Obviously the music was phenomenal. They had the best, they creamed off the best and tried to restrict other people from having the success that they wanted to monopolise. But
I think it's important to think about like where the music comes from. Where we live, we were looking at America, and you've got Philadelphia, Chicago, Detroit, New York, and we could have an overview. We could see all of it. Whereas Americans living in Detroit would hear Detroit music, living in Philadelphia, Philadelphia music, unless the records became national, and then the distribution was much better. So we had a bit of a unique view of things, which...
Yeah, and it wasn't success either. We didn't care if that record was a flop in the charts. We didn't give a toss.
In fact, we stopped playing it if it was in the charts.
Well, yeah, there was
devil may
come. It was. We wanted the rare records created by having all those talented people that somehow just didn't happen to be in the right place at that particular time. And
yeah. But equally, like Chicago had Curtis Mayfield Impressions, Jerry Butler.
Yeah, there's a different
Chess
style.
with.
Yeah, because when we're back in the we could tell if a record was from Detroit, or if it was from Chicago, or if it was from New York, or if it was from Memphis, simply by...
You look at history of blues, history of jazz, R&B is being touched on a bit more, but like there's a lot about jazz written, there's a lot about blues written, and people have gone looking, and Americans are looking more. I mean, it has been a lot of English people coming over, trying to find out about black music. I don't know why. Somehow white Americans don't seem to be.
Well, I think it's success oriented.
All black Americans.
I was saying before that we're not restricted by the fact that these records weren't successful, and we don't care about that. We can sort of just listen to a record and judge, well, that is or isn't a good record, that appeals to me or it doesn't appeal to me, without looking at a Billboard chart to tell us what it is or what it did. And the fact is that these weren't Billboard successes. They were just records that were issued and didn't have the promotion, didn't have the financial backing that it takes to make a successful record.
Thank you so much, guys. That almost concludes our hour-long, wonderful listening to these tunes, and we're gonna play one more by The Holidays called "I Lost You," and this is so perfect for me right now. This is Arts Focused. You're listening to Cjam. Brent is up next, and with Queer Radio, and I'll see you next week, same time, same place.
Baby, I never knew that you wanted me to, and now I'm hating myself because you found someone else and I lost you. Oh, girl, I lost you. Oh, you were the sweetest thing, baby.
Anybody know this song in just a second here?
I never knew that you wanted me to, and now I'm hating myself because you found someone else. Oh, foolish me, I just couldn't see, and now I lost you. Oh, girl, I lost you. Oh, yeah, you were the sweetest thing, baby.
Hi, this is Christopher and Cjam from Pleasure. And listen to Cjam 91.5 FM.
Good evening and welcome to Queer Radio. My name is Brent and I'll be with you until 10 o'clock. Coming up at 10 is the Freedom Principle. And tonight I have music, news, and information from the book Free Your Mind, which is the book for gay, lesbian, and bisexual youth and their allies by Ellen Bass and Kate Kaufman. I'll have the sections We're Not Just Like Everyone Else, Challenging Gender Roles, Not Just One Way to Be Gay, We Are Family, The History of the Gay and Lesbian Community, Stonewall, and Where We Are Right Now, which is right here on Queer Radio, Cjam 91.5 FM. That's all coming up, so please stay tuned. We have first a track from Superlingua. This is called The Frog Dance.
I'm feeling really
Okay. Okay. Right now I'm with Melissa Mazar.
Mazar, yeah.
Mazar of Cjam Radio.
5 FM.
Okay. What is your position here at the station, first of all?
I'm a volunteer, and I was kind of talked into doing the arts focus show. I can think of a million other people that would be better than me, but it seemed like I was the only one that was arts focused, which is the name of the show as well. I'm an artist myself. I'm doing my master's in fine art at the university here, and I've been involved in the community for a while, and so I think that's why they thought I'd be a good person to host the show that kind of is supposed to be about Windsor and region artists and what's going on and stuff. So.
When you say artists, you mean visual arts?
Visual arts, well, yeah, is mainly what I'm kind of well, not expert, but that's what I know.
And you've sort of crossed over into audio, like obviously.
Well, I mean, I think that the arts right now, there's a lot of audio experimental music that's going on, and it's quite a valid form of art making at the moment. So I have been focusing a lot on like for example, there's Throbbing Bristle and Miranda July and Dan Lander, Dan Lander's Canadian, and a lot of people in the community that are doing audio work in their art. So I've been focusing a lot on that.
And how does one get into DJing or getting involved with a radio station?
Call the station. It's really easy to get a show. At the moment, probably there's not many slots, but I mean, there's a show that two 10-year-olds do, and I walked in one day and I was just listening. I'm like, this is amazing, and I looked in and like the little door and saw these people that can't even reach the microphones, and they're putting on an amazing show. So I mean, it's like anyone in the community at all can have a radio show. Like anyone can. It doesn't have to be age specific or anything. Like it's pretty wonderful. Like, and I think Windsor's pretty cool that way, because there's a range. There's a very eclectic range of shows on Cjam.
So you see it as a chance for anybody to get exposure, whether they want to DJ or even if they're a performer and they want their stuff. How do they go about it? Like some people who are just starting out in the industry, like as far as music's concerned anyways, feel very frustrated about getting any kind of exposure. How do you see where the college radio comes in?
Well, I think we have a mandate that we have to play a certain amount of new and Canadian content, like on our shows. So if you are in a band and you want to, promote yourselves, like just drop it into like all the radio stations across Canada, and you will probably be played at some point or other. So I mean, like we have a lot of like indie shows, and I mean that's basically why we're here, is for new bands. That's.
I understand that there's like a chart for the college stations where somebody, if they release something, it could be rated from 1 to 20.
Yeah.
Is that right?
Yeah. So I don't know a lot about that because I'm the spoken word kind of half, but.
Okay. Well,
but there is.
Maybe we could emphasize on the spoken word part, like, just because, like, I don't want to ask you something out of your league of expertise. Yeah, okay.
Jurisdiction.
Yeah, sorry. That's fine. Like, well, this is rolling. We edit it later, anyways, right? So, like, I wouldn't worry too much. Yeah, you can say anything you want, and like, we're not going to make you look bad because that makes us look bad, right? Okay. And we do a good job of that, or can.
Like I do. There's quite a few spoken word programs.
What exactly constitutes spoken word? Like, keep in mind, you know, like if there's anybody tuning into the station, you know, like.
Yeah. Well, spoken word's basically interviews and more talking than music. But I mean, we're not. It's not like we can't play music at all, because I do play a lot of music on my show. But it's the focus is on like getting interviews with local artists and you know, telling what's going on in the community arts-wise and.
Does poetry fall into that?
Yes, there's the program before mine actually is a literary arts show, and she does a lot of poetry and reads poetry as well as interviews poets and writers and that kind of thing. So that our shows kind of are married in that way, that she does the literary and I do the visual kind of thing. So it's worked out fairly well. So we're kind of back to back on Monday nights. So doing this.
And people come out, they're usually quite comfortable being interviewed. And
I've had, well, this interview was amazing because I think like Graham just kind of took over, and I let him do that because I just seemed like he was doing a better job than I could have. But last week was difficult. I had two artists on students that were you know, never done this before, and they were nervous, and it was hard to get anything out of them. So it was like trying to get anything at all out of them was kind of hard. So that was a lot of dead air, and that's hard. And I mean, I'm a volunteer. I'm not, and you know, I don't do this as a living. I have never gone to school for it, so I don't know, you know, like I don't think I'm a really good interviewer. I just kind of, you know, I have this forum, and I'm just trying to get, you know, people that want to, you know, promote their stuff. So it's kind of up to them to come to me and tell me that they want to do something. I have been, like, you know, going out and seeking people out, but largely it's people that say, hey, I want to do something, and like I have the show, then I'll do it, you know. So so these people did, but they really didn't have anything a lot to talk about, which was kind of unfortunate because their art was fairly interesting, and I was trying to, you know, talk about their art, but it was difficult.
So you find people are usually appreciating, like, being given a shot. Like, what's the audience like? In terms of numbers, like for your show, any idea?
I have no idea. Probably not very many. It's my kind of, I have to, like, I should be promoting it, but I think I just started in September doing this, so I'm trying to get my feet wet and getting, like, more, like, knowing what I'm doing, and I'm feeling more comfortable with it. So I think now I kind of start getting posters out, because it's not, like, people don't know that it's out there, but I don't know. I would be embarrassed to say how many people listened. I'm not sure if even like a handful. So, but hopefully, like I mean, I'm really enjoying it, and hopefully, you know, I think it's a good forum for community artists.
What's the range of the station like in terms of area? Oh, approximately like
I know
50K or something like that, or maybe not even that.
No, it's pretty broad. It does Detroit, like it goes over to Detroit and like all of Windsor. So
you got a potential. You got a potential large.
Yes, I mean like the fact that Detroit is there is like really, I think what makes Cjam like a potentially really important radio station, because it's, you know, it bridges like American and Canadian. And
do you get calls from like?
Yeah. Oh yeah. From
Detroit.
Mm-hmm. My first call actually was from Detroit, and I was playing some Kathy Acker, who's an artist who she's a performance artist, and she there are some tracks on the CD that I played that were kind of, you know, sexually explicit or not for children, and you know, I'm supposed to, you know, have a listener discretion card before I play, and I'd forgotten, so I was apologizing after she was on, and I got a call, and he was like, you shouldn't apologize, this is Cjam, this is like a radio station for, it's like, you're doing a wonderful job, and so it was great. Like, this guy was from Detroit, so it was good.
That's great. I'd like to thank you for
thank you very much. Thanks for
taking the time, and hopefully everything works out.